Well, yeah, I guess first of all, talk about, were you proud of the fact, you're depleted? You've got 4 or 5 of your best defenders don't play the first half with Kevin out. 4 of them don't play the whole game, and yet, you held up, you made some plays, you did enough to get the victory.
Yeah, I'm really proud of our guys. To win that game, I think to bounce back from what happened the previous week, and like you said, that to have some of our our starters out, some of our best players out, we had some guys step up and do some good things. It certainly wasn't pretty, and we've got to fix a lot of things and continue to get better. Like I've said each week, but the effort was really really good. We just kept playing, found a way to make a play there at the end. Wish it wouldn't have gotten down to that point to have to stop them on 2-point conversion, but we did, and I thought we played complimentary football on Saturday. Offense got it going. They held the football a lot, which we knew we needed to do in that game, and that was a good offensive football team that we played. It'd be interesting to see how they do moving forward, but to have 2 guys start at linebacker for their first game, to see all the things that we saw on Saturday that they were not prepared for, new wrinkles that they had in the game plan. With all that being said, just to win that game was huge for us. So, really proud of our players and their fortitude and their resilience and their fight.
So for young guys like Tyrell Adams and Nicholas Straw and Derek Atwaters, and got a lot of reps in that game by necessity, did I guess they grow immensely? There's nothing better than trial by fire, huh?
Yeah, no question. You look at a guy like Tyrell, who played extremely hard, made a lot of mistakes, but made a lot of good plays for us as well. Was proud of the way Derek Atwater played. I think when we got a chance to sit down yesterday and watch that game film, certainly a lot of things need to get corrected. There's just little bitty things that are going to make him a lot better player. And sometimes when the lights come on, you do some things that are uncharacteristic. You might have your eyes in the wrong place and those kind of things. So just a lot of little details to clean up, simple alignments, eye placement. We had a lot of eye violations, with those new guys, which you kind of expect. But yeah, Mitch West played the entire first half. I thought he did well when he was in there. So it was an opportunity for those guys to get in there and learn and grow and earn some trust. But yeah, I was proud of those guys.
Do you feel good that you'll get those injured guys back this week, or is it too early to say at this point, Coach?
Yeah, I think it's still too early to say at this point. It'll be another game time kind of decision. So I'm hoping to get
and then lastly for me, before I hand it off, how well do you know the ECU D coordinator who replaced you at Kennesaw State?
I know him pretty well. We never worked together, but we worked camps together. We've talked on the phone several times about things. He came in right behind me at Kennesaw, as you mentioned. So we had a lot of discussions when that took place. I think he's a really good coach. Obviously, being at Kennesaw for a year, he's had to defend the option there. He was at Citadel before that, so he had to defend the option every day in practice there. So he's a guy that is going to understand how to defend it and, some of the finer points and nuances about getting ready to defend the team that runs the option.
All right, Phil Bergman.
Hey, Coach. The quarterback for ECU, he seems like a good pro-style guy, about 6'3", 230. What have you seen from him out there, and you guys ready for that challenge?
Yeah, I think he's outstanding. I think when they get going and they're in a rhythm, he's as good as anybody will see. We caught him early last year. I think it was the second or third game of the year. They were in a new offensive system. I think toward the end of the year, you saw him really, really tear some people apart in the secondary. He's big, physical, lefty, can make all of the throws, the things that he does really well. He's athletic enough to hurt you with his feet. A little bit of quarterback running there, but when you pressure, he can break tackles because he's so big. And he gets out of the pocket and he locates receivers downfield, throws the ball really, really well on the run. And he's got some really, really good targets to throw it to, and they're a team that they'll take what you give them. But if they can get the run game going and they RPO off of that, and they've got really good play action pass game, and then they drop back pass, when they get the ball going and they can run it and they get into a rhythm, I think they're really, really good.
This doesn't seem like the same East Carolina team as years past. What are you just preaching to the guys this week heading into the game?
Yeah, well, it's not. It's not going to be anything like the game was last year. I watched last year's game last night, and we got after them pretty good. But their second year in the program. Just watch them. They're much better up front than they were a year ago. The quarterback's been in the system now for a year, and he's got a lot of returning targets that he's familiar with. I think they understand each other a little bit better than they did maybe when we played them last year, obviously. And so it's a more greased up operation, and they're clicking pretty good right now.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, if you have a question, type question in the chat box. Dave Richmond from the Sports Objective in North Carolina. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask you about the freshman running backs for the Pirates with Mitchell and Harris. They've really added a lot of depth to the running back room for East Carolina. I want to ask you your thoughts on them.
Yeah, I think they're both really good players. They've got a lot of depth at running back. I think they're really good at that position, really athletic, break tackles, physical. The run game certainly scares me, but yeah, those guys are concerns, and they're good football players.
Any follow-up, Dave, or is that it? Anyone else?
As far as
Oh,
yeah, I was going to ask one more if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
The offense this year has had times when it looks like there's sparks where they're looking good. One of the things is that Pirates have 54 new players this year, and you were talking about last year's team. They are improved, but I guess it depends on which Pirate team you get.
Yeah, what I've seen this year, like I was kind of alluding to earlier, once they can get that running game going a little bit, which I think the one game that, the Georgia State game, they weren't able to get it going. But when they do and they get into a rhythm, they're a really good football team. I think they're really well-rounded. They can run it and throw it, and the offensive coordinator there does a great job. They take what you give them. If they've got to throw it 50 times to win, they can do that, and they have the tools to do that. And if they need to run it 50 times to win it, they're able to do that too. And so they're extremely well balanced, which is always a challenge to defend. But it starts with the quarterback, and I think he's a really, really good player.
Who else? Wags, any follow-ups?
Well, yeah, I don't like to present you with hypotheticals, but let's say Tom Tuatelli is able to come back. Adams played well and made some plays, had good numbers. I mean, how do you handle that? Do you think a guy can lose his starting job by injury, or do you basically roll him out there in practice and say whoever practices better this week, what have you done for me lately type situation?
Yeah, those guys compete in practice all the time. So, and Thomas won that job. Right now, and as well as many good things as Tyrell did for us Saturday, he still should be a backup for us at will linebacker. So if Thomas is ready to go, and he has a good week of practice, and we'll roll him out. And the good thing is that Tyrell got a lot of really good game experience, and now you feel better about relieving a guy like Tama and putting him in there to keep Tama fresh and getting him a lot more reps. Anytime you get a guy like that gets kind of thrown in the fire, we had this discussion in my position meeting today. Those guys start to earn trust with you. You feel better about putting them on the field. They're not going to lose their minds, and they're going to go out and make plays and run around. So really encouraged by what Tyrell did. He's going to continue to get better, like I said. But keep in mind, he was a safety. We moved him to linebacker during camp. Now he's new to the position. He's still learning. Made a lot of mistakes on Saturday, like I expected he would, especially in a game like that when you're defending things that you haven't seen in practice. And I knew that was going to be a challenge. It was, but we always talk about playing with great effort around here, and sometimes that can cover up some mistakes, and that certainly was the case at times on Saturday.
Phil pointed out when we were interviewing Tyrell, and I didn't quite put two and two together, that he's got a twin on this team. Is that kid playing striker right now? And do you think he's got some ability? I guess Tyrell said he plays on special teams, like on a kick return or something like that.
Yeah, sure does. Yeah, so Josh is he's at striker. He's a backup at striker right now. He's a backup striker in dime. He's in the depth at striker in our base. very similar to Tyrell, really hard worker, has some tools, and is helping us on special teams as well.
And lastly, for me, I guess Pearson got the bulk of reps at nose guard. Did you run out a second nose guard? I don't know. Is Flowers back? Is he? I don't think has Flowers played since.
Yeah, he played Saturday. I don't know how many reps he played. Looking at my sheet here, he played 20 snaps on Saturday, so he was in there. He's back. He's almost back to 100%. I don't know if he'll ever be 100% healthy. Some of the things he got, they're going to kind of linger throughout the year, but we're going to get him cranked up. And Pearson probably played a few too many snaps in there. You know, he's a big body, but needs to split time at that position.
Anyone else? Lincoln, you got anything?
I'm good. Just enjoyed eavesdropping.
All right, no problem. All right, thanks, Coach Newberry.